Welcome back to Eagle Discovery. Today, we focus on the homelessness crisis in the U.S., with over 500,000 people living without shelter. Despite events like the World Cup for the homeless in California, many face unimaginable hardships. Let's dive into where they're concentrated and the challenges they endure. New York City. New York City, with its sprawling metropolis and population of over 8 million, is often seen as the epicenter of wealth, power, and opportunity in the United States. Its skyline, filled with towering skyscrapers and luxury residences, represents the American dream. However, this glossy image of affluence masks a deeply troubling reality. The city is also home to one of the highest rates of homelessness in the nation. While the city boasts an impressive number of millionaires, with 1 in every 21 residents holding a 7-figure net worth, approximately 70,000 people are homeless. In addition, a staggering 20% of New Yorkers live in poverty, struggling to meet basic needs. The issue of homelessness in New York is not confined to the streets alone. Many homeless individuals take refuge in subway stations or on the sidewalks, exposed to harsh weather and the dangers of living in a densely populated urban environment. The situation is particularly dire in some neighborhoods, where the gap between the wealthy elite and the impoverished is glaringly wide. Another startling aspect of the city's homelessness crisis is its impact on the education system. Roughly 100,000 students in New York's public schools are experiencing homelessness. These children often face extreme instability at home, leading to frequent absenteeism and difficulties concentrating in class. For many, the dream of escaping poverty through education seems increasingly out of reach. While New York has made efforts to combat homelessness, such as housing thousands of homeless individuals in hotels during the COVID-19 pandemic, the issue remains unresolved. These temporary measures highlight the urgency of finding long-term solutions. As the city continues to attract people from all over the world, the stark contrast between wealth and homelessness raises questions about the true cost of success and the growing inequality in one of the wealthiest cities globally. Hey there! Where are you from? I want to know which city you're watching our video from. Please leave a comment so we don't feel lonely. A small action like this will motivate us to make more videos. Thank you, and much love to you. Los Angeles. Los Angeles, the second largest city in the United States, is often synonymous with dreams of fame, fortune, and glamour. With its booming entertainment industry and upscale neighborhoods, Louisiana has become a global symbol of success and excess. The city, home to over 1.3 million immigrants, is a place where luxury sports cars cruise through affluent districts, and movie stars live in multi-million-dollar mansions. However, beneath the glittering surface, Louisiana is grappling with an overwhelming homelessness crisis. An estimated 44,000 people are living without homes in Los Angeles, and many of them are forced to sleep on the streets, in their cars, or in temporary shelters. The rising cost of living, particularly the skyrocketing housing prices, has exacerbated the problem. The average rent for a modest apartment in LA exceeds $1,700 a month, around 43 million VND, which makes it nearly impossible for low-income families to find affordable housing. For many, homelessness is a harsh reality, despite the city's wealth and the number of job opportunities it offers. All right, if you're new to this channel, Eagle Discovery warmly welcomes you. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on the notification bell to catch our upcoming content. One of the most shocking stories to emerge from LA in 2024 involved Dr. Daniel Merrill, an astronomy professor at UCLA. Despite earning a respectable annual salary of $70,000, about 1.7 billion VND, Dr. Merrill found himself unable to afford a place to live in the city. As a result, he was forced to experience homelessness for a period, a chilling reminder that even well-educated, employed individuals can fall victim to the city's housing crisis. This crisis, which sees thousands of people living on the margins, has been exacerbated by a lack of affordable housing, the rising cost of living, and a growing divide between the wealthy elite and the rest of the population. While LA continues to attract the world's richest and most famous, its streets are filled with those who are struggling to survive. As the homelessness crisis deepens, questions about the city's priorities and its ability to provide for all its residents come to the forefront. Despite efforts by the local government to offer temporary shelters and services, the scale of the problem suggests that more long-term solutions are urgently needed. San Francisco. San Francisco, home to some of the most prominent tech companies in the world like Twitter and Wells Fargo, is often seen as a symbol of innovation and wealth. Yet beneath its shiny exterior, the city is struggling with one of the largest homeless populations in the U.S. California, in particular, is home to nearly a third of America's homeless individuals, and San Francisco is a focal point of this crisis. The streets of the city, particularly the Tenderloin neighborhood, are infamous for their dense concentrations of homeless encampments. Here, people sleep under makeshift shelters, often surrounded by debris, and drug use is visible in broad daylight. The situation in San Francisco has prompted backlash from both residents and businesses, with many filing lawsuits against the city for failing to address the worsening conditions. Issues such as rampant theft, public drug consumption, and violence have become major concerns. Despite the city's immense wealth and technological influence, its streets are plagued by stark inequality. The homeless population in San Francisco is often invisible to the city's tourists and affluent residents, but their presence is undeniable, highlighting a growing divide between the haves and the have-nots. The challenge of finding long-term solutions is compounded by the high cost of living, gentrification, and a lack of affordable housing, all of which contribute to the city's persistent homelessness crisis. Slab City. In the remote Sonoran Desert of California lies one of the most unusual settlements in the U.S., Slab City. This unregulated, off-the-grid community has become a haven for homeless individuals, addicts, and ex-military personnel who seek a life away from the constraints of society. Originally a military base, the area was abandoned, and over time, people have moved in, creating a makeshift society without any of the basic amenities most Americans take for granted. There is no electricity, no running water, and no sewage system. What makes Slab City unique is the freedom it offers its residents, who build homes and shelters out of discarded materials, forging a life that is independent from the traditional structures of urban life. During the winter months, the population of Slab City can swell to several thousand people, as individuals seek refuge from the harsh winter temperatures of the desert. However, when summer arrives and temperatures can soar above 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 43 degrees Celsius, most of the inhabitants leave, unable to survive the extreme heat. Despite the lack of resources, Slab City has become an emblem of freedom and self-sufficiency for those who live there. Yet, it also symbolizes the harsh reality of America's homelessness problem, with residents facing the perils of living in such an unforgiving environment without access to basic health care, sanitation, or security. Las Vegas. Las Vegas, often referred to as the city that never sleeps, is renowned for its bright lights, world-class casinos, and entertainment. However, behind the glitter and glamour of the Strip lies a stark contrast: the city's growing homelessness crisis. Known for its indulgence and excess, Las Vegas also suffers from a severe shortage of affordable housing. Around 20% of the city's employed residents are unable to afford a place to live, forcing many to seek shelter on the streets. The city's high cost of living, combined with a booming tourism and entertainment industry that prioritizes luxury and spectacle, makes it difficult for lower-income individuals to find stable housing. One of the more alarming aspects of homelessness in Las Vegas is the underground sewage system, where many homeless people have resorted to living. These underground tunnels are dark, damp, and dangerous, yet they offer some form of shelter from the harsh desert elements. Conditions in these tunnels are dire, and the threat of disease, injury, and violence is ever present. Despite efforts from local organizations to provide temporary shelters and assistance, the city's homelessness problem remains one of its most pressing issues. The paradox of Las Vegas, where excess and opulence stand side by side with such deep poverty, serves as a glaring reminder of the city's failure to address the needs of its most vulnerable residents. San Diego. San Diego, a vibrant coastal city in Southern California, is facing a growing homelessness crisis that is becoming increasingly visible. With its picturesque beaches and pleasant climate, it's a popular destination for tourists and residents alike. However, beneath the surface, the city's homelessness rate is alarmingly high. Many of San Diego's homeless population can be found on sidewalks, in public parks, or near major roads. In some areas, makeshift homes are crafted from tents, old cars, and discarded materials. A particularly concerning aspect of homelessness in San Diego is the large number of individuals who take refuge in the city's vast underground drainage system. This subterranean network is home to over 1,500 people, many of whom are living in conditions that are both unsanitary and dangerous. The underground tunnels, often damp and dark, provide a temporary escape from the streets, but they come with their own set of risks, including exposure to disease and crime. Despite efforts from local organizations to address the issue, the number of homeless individuals in San Diego continues to rise, and the city is struggling to find long-term solutions to alleviate this growing problem. Unique begging trends in the U.S. In recent years, begging in the United States has taken on some unique and sometimes bizarre forms, particularly in major urban centers. While the traditional image of a homeless person holding a sign asking for money remains common, there are now a variety of creative and sometimes shocking ways individuals solicit donations. For example, some beggars stand on street corners in revealing bikinis, claiming they need money to enhance their appearance, while others ask for funds to send their children to school or to find a wealthy spouse. Even more surprising is the rise of professional beggars, individuals who openly ask for money to buy beer, often in a frank and unapologetic manner. Interestingly, this type of begging can sometimes yield higher earnings than more conventional approaches. In one notorious case, a group of homeless people from New York organized a begging tour across Europe. They traveled to countries like Italy, Germany, and Sweden, where they lived in relative luxury, sightseeing and enjoying the hospitality of strangers who donated money to their cause. While this may be an extreme example, it highlights the diverse ways in which begging has evolved in response to both social and economic conditions. The impact of rising housing costs. The skyrocketing cost of housing across many American cities is one of the most significant factors driving the homelessness crisis. In cities like San Francisco, for example, the average home price has reached a staggering $1.4 million, roughly 34.3 billion VND, and the rent for an apartment in the city center can easily exceed $3,000 per month. This astronomical cost of living is out of reach for many low-income individuals and families, pushing them into a precarious housing situation. As the housing market becomes increasingly inaccessible, many are forced to live in their cars, under bridges, or in abandoned buildings. In some cases, people have no choice but to take shelter in public spaces or in temporary structures like tents that offer minimal protection from the elements. The issue of homelessness in the U.S. is no longer just an economic concern. It's a deep societal crisis that affects communities across the country. As housing costs continue to rise, the gap between the wealthy and the poor widens, and the homeless population grows, leading to a situation that demands urgent action and reform. The vicious cycle of addiction and homelessness. Homelessness and addiction often go hand in hand, creating a vicious cycle that is incredibly difficult to break. Many individuals living on the streets struggle with substance abuse, including drugs and alcohol, which compounds their already dire situation. Cities like San Francisco have witnessed a disturbing rise in public drug use, often occurring in broad daylight, and this issue is not limited to just a few areas. Addiction among the homeless is a major obstacle to their ability to find stability or get back on their feet. The lack of housing and the inability to access treatment only worsen their dependency, making it nearly impossible to escape their circumstances. Moreover, many individuals experiencing homelessness also suffer from untreated mental health conditions, further complicating their efforts to overcome addiction. The combination of addiction and mental illness creates a dangerous environment for these individuals, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation, violence, and neglect. Without the support of stable housing or proper health care, it becomes incredibly challenging to break free from the cycle of homelessness and addiction, leaving many feeling trapped and hopeless. Government action and public perception. Many cities have implemented measures aimed at reducing visible homelessness, but these solutions have often been insufficient and at times even counterproductive. A common approach has been the introduction of no-camping laws, which make it illegal for homeless individuals to sleep or set up tents in public spaces. These laws are enforced with fines, and in some cases, individuals can face jail time for living in public areas. In California, for instance, people who set up tents in certain areas can face penalties as high as $1,000 or imprisonment for up to 6 months. While these laws might make public spaces seem tidier, they do little to address the underlying issues causing homelessness. Rather than providing long-term solutions, such actions typically displace homeless individuals from one location to another, offering them no real relief or access to the services they need. The lack of affordable housing, skyrocketing living costs, and increasing economic inequality are often cited as root causes of the crisis, yet these laws do nothing to tackle these systemic issues. Instead, they focus on pushing the homeless out of public view without offering sustainable alternatives. Public perception of homelessness is frequently shaped by harmful stereotypes, with many people viewing the homeless as lazy or undeserving of help. These negative attitudes perpetuate the stigma surrounding homelessness, making it even harder for individuals to access the support they need. Unfortunately, these stereotypes often overshadow the complex realities of homelessness, such as mental health challenges, addiction, and the sheer lack of affordable housing options. For meaningful change to occur, governments need to move beyond these short-term measures. Real solutions must include the construction of more affordable housing, as well as increased access to health care, addiction treatment, and mental health services. Only by addressing the root causes of homelessness and providing comprehensive support systems can we hope to see lasting improvements in the lives of homeless individuals. The homelessness crisis in the United States shows no signs of slowing down, despite ongoing efforts to combat it. Major cities such as New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego are seeing a sharp rise in the number of homeless individuals, many of whom are grappling with addiction, mental health challenges, and the skyrocketing cost of housing. As the wealth gap continues to expand, more people are finding themselves forced onto the streets. This escalating issue is also shifting how the public perceives homelessness. What are your thoughts on this growing problem? Feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. We'll see you in the next video.